The combination of retro looks and off-road capability, along with a solidly reliable V6 powertrain, has made the FJ Cruiser one of the most sought-after off-roaders since its final model year of 2014. Hey, I'm Creech, and this is Creech and Cars. After more than a decade, Toyota has decided to bring this classic Overlander nameplate back, and today I'll offer you an early look at this all-new FJ Cruiser. Let's start on the exterior with the general design of this new FJ Cruiser, and while nothing official has come out yet, I think we could still get a good idea of what the FJ Cruiser will look like. That's because rumors and reports are suggesting that the FJ Cruiser will essentially be a smaller version of the Land Cruiser, and it may even be called the Land Cruiser FJ instead of the FJ Cruiser like the old model was. Based on that assumption, several artists have put together renderings showing what a new FJ Cruiser could look like as a mini off-roader. You can definitely expect that classic boxy look with sharp geometric body lines. Large front and rear bumpers combined with heavy plastic cladding will give it that rugged and muscular look despite this vehicle's small footprint. I particularly like this rendering from CarScoops. The front end is very similar to the Land Cruiser with the Toyota script and rectangular headlights. I also like the frequent use of black accenting around the vehicle and on the roof. Also, by using these unpainted black plastic parts, Toyota can cut costs here and there while lending some more of that off-road credibility to this design. As for the interior, it will likely have a lot in common with the standard Land Cruiser as well, specifically the 1958 base trim of the Land Cruiser. In here, that serious Overlander look continues with this chunky, blocky design language, and I do like the blocky, old-fashioned gear selector that makes it feel like you're actually doing something when you put the car in gear. There is a fully digital gauge cluster and an 8-inch display with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, along with Toyota's infotainment system that is generally well liked. The base Land Cruiser comes standard with a 6-speaker stereo system and heated seats and a heated steering wheel, although the FJ may drop some of those niceties. Still, you can expect the FJ to pack a lot of practicality into its small footprint with plenty of interior storage, charging ports, a wireless charger, maybe even a household style 120 volt receptacle, along with about 30 cubic feet of storage in the cargo area, or around 60 cubic feet with the rear seats folded down. The FJ will be a good bit cheaper than the Land Cruiser as well, so you can also expect a downgrade in materials in some areas, especially in spots that aren't really touched regularly. Toyota will probably opt for some cheap hard plastics in those areas, and the FJ will be smaller than the Land Cruiser, so it will be cheaper in nature with that as well. Not much is known about the exact powertrain setup, but Toyota is fairly consistent with how it goes about building out these new models. The FJ will of course ride on Toyota's highly flexible TNGA platform. This platform will be modified to be a little bit smaller. Like I said, the FJ Cruiser is going to be a smaller version of the Land Cruiser, and I would guess that the FJ will be about 1.5 feet shorter and a few inches narrower than the Land Cruiser. 4-wheel drive will be offered, although it may not come as standard. We'll just have to wait and see. And here's where things get a little murky, because there have been lots of rumors and reports floating around, and many sources are actually suggesting that this new FJ Cruiser will be fully electric, but I'm not buying that. Just given Toyota's track record on EVs and the type of vehicle that this is, that just doesn't make sense to me. However, I would definitely expect a hybrid powertrain to be offered on the top trim of the FJ, and that could generate up to 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque when Toyota's 2.5 liter 4-cylinder is combined with an electric motor on each axle. The base trim of the FJ will come without those electric motors, and with the ICE alone, it will likely put out a number closer to 200 horsepower. Still, those specs would keep the new FJ Cruiser competitive with rivals like the Wrangler and especially the Bronco Sport. So this is kind of just a rumor for now, but Toyota has trademarked the name Land Cruiser FJ, which is why a lot of people think it may be called that instead of just the FJ Cruiser as it used to be called. And many reports are suggesting that the reveal is due, the official reveal that is, will come before the end of 2025, but probably in the fourth quarter. Now, as far as pricing goes, the Land Cruiser, the current Land Cruiser, while it's not like the full-size Land Cruiser of old that was very expensive, it's much smaller but still very expensive, which is why I think there is kind of room for this FJ Cruiser that could start at around $30,000 or the kind of the low 30s and go up to the low to mid $40,000 range. So with all that being said, here are my final thoughts on the all-new 2026 Toyota FJ Cruiser. The off-road SUV market has been buzzing for the past several years, and the uptick in demand has supported the return of good old-fashioned off-roaders like the Ford Bronco or Ineos Grenadier. Given these current market conditions, I think Toyota is right to test the limits of this newfound demand, even factoring in the risk of this model being too closely related to the Land Cruiser. This is essentially a Bronco Sport situation, which is why I brought up that the Bronco Sport is probably going to be the Land Cruiser FJ's biggest competitor. As Ford is doing, I think it's worth a shot for Toyota to try to capture those buyers who want that off-road look and feel without spending a ton of money to get that real off-road capability. Now, Toyota does make a lot of different SUV models, so while I'm not surprised that the new FJ Cruiser got the green light, I also wouldn't be surprised if Toyota pulls the plug after just a few model years. This is a brand that really does have a lot of options, and they kind of start to blend together. On the smaller side, the Corolla Cross and the RAV4 do seem to have some market overlap. In that more mid-size section, the 4Runner and the Grand Highlander seem to have a lot of overlap, although you can look at it as the 4Runner being more of an off-road oriented model. But then there's the Land Cruiser that is far more expensive than the 4Runner, but still a lot smaller than the Sequoia, which is maybe not as capable, but it's a much more kind of family-oriented big SUV. So it is kind of tough to see yet another SUV fitting in here, but Toyota must have enough information to go ahead with producing this Land Cruiser FJ, and even if things don't really work out, I don't think it will hurt them too badly to go through with this. More information will surely leak out in the coming months, but for now, that's everything we know about the upcoming return of the Toyota FJ Cruiser, or Land Cruiser FJ, whatever it ends up being called. Let me know what you think about this new model in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any future uploads. On this channel, I talk about car news like this, as well as history and culture. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.